If you clicked on this video looking for motivation, you're in the wrong place. Throughout this video, I'm not going to tell you to have more discipline, to try harder, to wake up at 5, to take ice bath, to try Pomodoro, or to quit your phone, or to quit your social media, or to find your passion. Why? Because you have tried it all. If working harder was a solution, you wouldn't be here watching this video. You will already be done. The problem is not your efforts, it's your operating system. Last year, my operating system crashed. It wasn't a dramatic explosion. It was quiet. I sat down on this desk to work, but nothing happened. I was staring at a blank document and it felt like my mind was buffering. I was tired and exhausted, always on the defense. I thought I had a laziness problem. I thought I needed more willpower. But as an engineer, I know that when your computer overheats, do not yell at it. You do not try to force it to work harder. You look at the schematics, you fix the cooling, you check the RAM. And I needed to figure something out for myself, something that always works, something that takes the guesswork out of my life. I realized I was running my life on legacy code, the random habits that I picked up in my 20s, the anxiety from social media, the continuous struggle to chase your dreams. I had to do something. So I stopped setting goals. I stopped looking for hacks. And I spent last 12 months rewriting my operating system from the ground up. I call this the Human OS version 2.0. It relies on physics, biology, engineering, not motivation. Today I'm handing you the source code. It's simple, it's unbreakable. This isn't a list of tips. This is a complete system architecture. Use it if you like. But I offer you this guarantee. The laziness you think is part of your personality is actually just a bug in your system. Run this code and that bug disappears forever. If you align your systems with these rules, the resistance that you feel every morning will vanish and your success will become a mathematical certainty. It has 4 levels. We don't talk about your goals, ambitions, and dreams up until level 3. And then there's level 4, which takes you up to top 1% of the high performers. Level 1, the biological hardware. Before we talk about your dreams and goals, the promotion that you want to get, the business that you want to run, the $1 million that you want to earn, we have to look at your hardware these goals are running on. You cannot run a high-performance software produced in 2025 on a system that has a broken battery and is running Windows XP from 2003. The system will throttle, it will most likely not work. Yet this is exactly how we treat our bodies. We expect them to perform miracles and high performance while running on low power mode all the time. I know what you're thinking. You want to skip to the level 3, to the deep work and the monk mode, but do not skip this. Level 1 is the foundation. It's the boring, unsexy stuff. But in engineering, if the foundation is not right, the skyscraper will fall. We have to fix these cables, we have to fix these foundations. And in my operating system, there are only 3 steps that you need to take care of. Number 1 is sleep. Yes, you have heard about it a million times, but you're not listening. You have been sold a lie. The lie is that greatness requires sacrifice, and the first thing you sacrifice is sleep. We feel proud pulling all-nighters. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. We look at figures like Edison or Elon Musk and say, they only slept for 4 hours, so I should too. Let me debunk that right now. This is called survivorship bias. For every genius who survived on 4 hours, there were millions who burned out, made critical errors, and crashed their health before they turned 40. We look at the success stories only. We don't look at the people who have failed just because they didn't get enough sleep. When you sleep, your brain literally flushes out neurotoxins. If you skip this, you're waking up with a dirty engine. You're trying to be creative through a layer of biological fog. It's just like turning off your washing machine mid-cycle. The laundry will be stinky and dirty. I would go as far as to say that it's better to fail an assignment or miss a deadline than to chronically undersleep. One is temporary, other is a permanent hardware damage. There's so much advice out there to improve your sleep, but I have just simple 4-step protocol. It's 8, 3, 2, 1. No caffeine 8 hours before you sleep. No meal 3 hours before you sleep. No work 2 hours before you sleep. And no screens, including the screens from your phone and from your laptops or your TVs 1 hour before you sleep. And then the last thing is go to bed at the same time or wake up at the same time, one of these things. If you follow these simple protocols, nothing fancy, I'm not going in science of these steps, but they work. You will wake up with exponentially higher energy. Now a warning, some of you watching this might be thinking, oh, that would be nice, but I have a newborn baby. I work night shift. I cannot have a consistent sleep schedule. I hear you. That's why it becomes even more important for you to follow the next few steps in level 2 and level 3. You cannot change your circumstances for now, so we have to focus on other solutions, and I will talk about them later in this video. Number 2 in our hardware section is glucose stability. Not many people talk about this. When you start your day with a sugary breakfast, cereals, pastries, croissant, and all sorts of things, you get energy rush. You feel energetic. Within 30 minutes, according to laws of physics, what goes up must come down. Your energy level crashes. And by 11 a.m., you don't have any energy left. And that's not something you can fix by willpower. It's just simple biology. You cannot focus when your mind is screaming for fuel. The fix is simple engineering. Stabilize the voltage. Switch to a savory breakfast. Eat high protein, high quality fat in the morning. Stay away from sugars for the time being. I'm not a dietitian. This is the protocol that works because this is an accepted fact that when you eat sugar, your spike goes up and then it crashes down. So we want to start our day at a win. Now you might be thinking that, oh, this is too simple. Yes, it is simple. But if we don't fix the voltage level now, the architect focused strategies that we'll talk in level 3 will simply won't work. You cannot outthink a sugar crash. The third pillar of the foundation is movement. I don't want to see your abs. I don't want to see your weight. I don't care how you look. I don't care how you feel. All I care is that you move. Why you move? Because when you move, when you do something, your body generates energy. You do not generate energy looking at TikToks on your social media. No. The energy is generated. This is counterintuitive, but the energy is generated when you walk, when you move, when you do something physical. And you don't have to go to gym. I'm not asking you to go to gym. I have just simple 3-step protocol. First, whenever you eat, walk for 10 minutes right after. Not so hard. After breakfast, walk for 10 minutes. Put a timer on, walk for 10 minutes. Indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter. Lunch, walk for 10 minutes. Number 2, for every 55 minutes of sitting, spend 5 minutes either stretching, squatting, or walking. Very simple, not hard to do. And the third thing is, when you're stuck on a problem, try vertical problem solving. Get up from your chair, go out, walk a little bit. If you're stuck on a problem, believe me, you'll find the answer. Okay, the boring part is done. Once you do this, your hardware is calibrated, your battery is full, and your energy is recharged. Now that you're awake, we need to protect you. Because the moment you try to work, the world is going to try to stop you. Let's install the second layer, the firewall. Your attention is the RAM of this computer. RAM is limited. Every worry, every news headline, every open tab, and every notification takes up a block of memory. If you are running 50 background processes of other people's drama, you have 0 RAM left for your own application. We need to install a firewall. And the malware in this case is unsolicited information. There are 3 things. Protocol A, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. There's an interesting concept in computer sciences. If you put a garbage data into a perfect algorithm, you get garbage result. If you feed your brain 30 TikToks, 5 angry news articles, and 20 photos of people living better lives than you, what output do you expect? Anxiety, envy, noise, distraction? You cannot binge watch 3 hours of negative news and then expect to write a beautiful chapter of your book. The input corrupts the output. What's the protocol? I run a protocol called default deny. I do not accept information unless I request it. Treat information like food. Is this nutritional, like a book, a deep conversation, or a video like this? Or it's just junk food, like scrolling through shorts and reels mindlessly. There's no harm in watching reels as long as you're conscious about it. My protocol is simple. The default deny policy, I have turned off all the notifications. If it's important, it will reach to me. If not, my firewall will block it. And that's the reason you haven't seen me on social media for quite a long time now. Protocol B, your boot sequence. This is one of the most important protocol of level 2. You know how to hack a laptop or any device? The best way to hack is when it's booting. The user doesn't know anything has happened. The system infects it, sits deep inside the architecture and corrupts it from within. That's what we do with our bodies when we let our boot sequence be corrupted by our phone. Most people wake up, roll over, and immediately check their phone. In engineering terms, you just gave the world root access to your brain before you even logged in. You're letting your boss, the news, the stranger on the internet write the code for your emotional state. You're reacting, not creating. Then what's the protocol? The offline morning. For the first 1 hour of the day, you are in read-only mode. No incoming connections. You can read books, you can cook, you can clean, you can walk around, you can do exercise, but you do not pick your phone. Do this for just a week and you'll see how much better your day will look like. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you start your morning with the doomscroll, your systems are already compromised. So that's protocol B, boot sequence. Focus on your first 60 minutes of the day, no phone. And the last protocol of level 2 is boredom. We have to talk about boredom. We treat boredom like a bug. The second we feel a gap in stimulation, waiting for the elevator, standing in line, we pull our phones out to patch the bug. This is a mistake. Boredom is not a bug. It's the loading screen for creativity. When you're bored, your brain activates the default mode network. This is the background process that connects ideas. It is where aha moment comes from. I spent 7 days being bored for 60 minutes, one of the best experiments I've done. And the way my mind was reacting to it by the end of it, and the way I was thinking on a single problem for such a long time, I had not expected it and hadn't experienced it for the last many years. So what's the protocol? Reclaim the gaps. When you are in an elevator, when you're waiting for your coffee to be ready, don't pull the phone out. Stare at the wall. Look around. It will be uncomfortable. But what's more uncomfortable is you losing your potential. We don't want that to happen. So the protocol number 3 in the level 2 is reclaim the gaps. Be bored. Use your TikToks, use your Instagram as you want to use, but when you're pulling your phone out of boredom, sitting in an elevator or in a bus, don't do that. Try it. The pain that you'll feel, that will be your dopamine system resetting. Let the system load. Now we have fixed the hardware and energy issue by sleeping, following the 4 protocols, by not eating sugar in the morning because we want our voltage to be stable, and by generating more energy with the help of simple movements. 1 hour sitting, 5 minutes of movement, or whenever you had a meal, just walk for 10 minutes. Once the hardware is fixed, we protected it from malware by focusing on 3 simple concepts. Garbage in, garbage out, run a default deny policy. If I request it, I'll get it, otherwise my firewall will block it. Number 2, the boot sequence. For the first 60 minutes of the day, I'm not taking any inbound connections. It's a read-only mode. I'm only focusing on whatever is around me. I'm not letting strangers decide my day by looking through the phone or even messages. And third is, boredom is the loading screen for creativity. We have to reclaim the gaps. Once you have done these 2 levels, now you can work on your goals. No matter which your goals you are, the protocols I'm going to give you, they will apply to you and they will fix your laziness and willpower problem for good. Level 3, actual goals, we call them applications. The first protocol is 4-hour constraint. This is where most people crash their system. They try to run heavy applications for 12 hours straight. You don't have 12 hours of focus. You have biologically about 4 hours of elite cognitive bandwidth per day. Everything after 4 hours is usually junk volume. It's low quality data entry, not high quality processing. We also fall victim of something called planning fallacy. Planning fallacy is a cognitive bias where we underestimate the time and resource it will take to complete a task, although it has taken longer in the past. We all fall victim of this. We set up our calendar one after the other thinking that we'll be able to achieve all of them. We're never able to achieve. What's the protocol? Do not schedule 8 hours of deep work. You will fail and you will feel shame. Schedule 4 hours of deep work. Treat this block like a server maintenance window. It's non-negotiable. 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or whatever time works for you. 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. whatever works. If you nail those 4 hours, you have done more than 99% of the people do in a week. Protocol B, single-threaded architecture. The second error we face is multitasking. In computer science, when a CPU switches from task A to task B, it has to save the state of A and load the state of B. This creates context switching penalties. Human beings have a massive penalty called attention residue. It has been proven scientifically that if you stop writing to check an email, a part of your RAM stays stuck on that email. You are now working with 80% of your brain. You open 3 more tabs, you are working with 60% of your brain. Attention residue is real and it kills the productivity of ambitious people. What do? The protocol is single tasking only. When I'm in my 4 hours window of deep work, I do one task at a time. Multitasking is a bug, not a feature. We need to stick with single-threaded protocol only. The third is being architect. There are 2 parts of you. One is builder, one is architect. Builder is lazy, builder will check the phone, builder will give up. The architect, also you, have to make sure to create a site that the builder does not fail. In 1936, a psychologist named Kurt Lewin gave us B is equal to F of P and E equation. The behavior change is a function of personality traits and environment. We focus so much on personality traits that we stop looking at the environment. And that's why people fail. We have to create the environment that encourages us to complete our goals. When you go in that 4-hour deep work mode and you're only working on one task, before that, remove the distraction. If you're prone to checking your phone, put your phone in a different corner. If you want to read when you go to sleep, put a book on your side table. If you want to go for a run in the morning, make sure your running shoes are ready and by the door. We have to design our environment. We cannot rely on willpower. We have to let the architect design it in a way that there is more friction to do the things that we don't want to do, and there is less friction for us to encourage us to do the things that we want to do. And if you follow these 3 protocols, you will crush your dreams and goals. If you do level 1, level 2, and level 3, you'll already be in the 95% of top performers. But there is one more level. It's not for everyone. It's for people who want to reach that 1%. I call it root access level. In computer language, user can run applications like we did in level 3, but a root user can create code, rewrite the code, change the rules. And that's what the level 4 is all about. Just like all other levels, it has 3 layers. The first one is via Negativa, the subtraction. I used to think that to get to the next level, I need to add more apps, more habits, more projects. Until I understood the via Negativa, improvement by subtraction. The fastest way to speed a computer isn't to buy more RAM, it is to delete the bloatware. Delete the project that is okay but not great. Delete the client that pays well but ruins your peace. Delete the friend who drains your energy. Do not add a diet pill, remove the sugar. Do not add a productivity app, remove the phone. You do not need to learn how to focus. You just need to remove the things that distract you. So what's the rule? If it's not a hell yes, it is a no. This clears up massive amount of system resources for the 1 or 2 things that actually matter. This is advice that I learned a long time ago. In early stages of your career, say yes to everything, which I did. But at one stage, you will reach at a point where you will say yes to the things that make you excited. So everything is a no unless it's a hell yes. That's how you will save your resources for the things that matter. The next is the ultimate tool in the root access toolkit. When you need to build something that scares you, a book, a company, a new life, level 3 isn't enough. You need a monk mode. This is a temporary period of extreme isolation and focus. You say no to social events for 3 weeks. You lock your phone away. You exist only for the work and recovery. I use monk mode twice a year. It's where 6 months of progress happens in just 2 weeks. And the last thing, to be in top 1% of the high performers, you have to have an if-else situation ready, also known as resilience. In coding, when a program hits an error, it can do one of 2 things. 1, crash, that is panic, or catch the error and continue, which is resilience. You have to have that resilience. When you're leveling up and you're going up and up, something can happen and you can crash down. Your health might deteriorate. Someone close to you might leave this world. Something terrible might happen to one of your family members or to you. How do you cope with that? What are the if-else statements in place? You have set your goals for next 6 months or a year. What happens if you miss working on those goals in February or January? What's your plan to come back to those goals? So if you nail those scenarios and if you have a plan set up, you will be unstoppable. So these are the 4 levels of my human operating system that I experimented with for the last 12 months. The beauty of it is it's simple, yet it works. You fix the hardware: sleep, glucose stability in the morning, and movement. You protect yourself from malware by garbage in, garbage out concept, handling the boot sequence, and then letting the boredom take over. You run the softwares by using single thread architecture, only 1 task at a time, by understanding that you have only 4 hours of deep work per day, and by being an architect to design the environment that will help you get those goals. And level 4, the top 1% via Negativa, subtraction, monk mode, and exception handling. Reboot your system. We're not building a life of hustle, we're building a life of design. We're moving from default setting of anxiety and burnout to the developer mode of focus and flow. Now, reading the manual is one thing, actually running the code is another. If you want to install this system alongside a group of other people who run on the same versions, I run a clean room experiment called Deep Work Retreat. We rent a cabin, we lock the phones away, and for 3 days we run this operating system perfectly. It's extreme, but it resets your baseline forever. I only open it a few times a year. If you want to know when the next cohort opens, the link is in the description. Until then, reboot your system. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.